Good afternoon everyone, Jackie and TaylorMadeFlyFish. I'm out today to talk about the SGT line which I've designed for TaylorMade. I'm going to explain its a few features and what I use it for and what casts it can make. I'm going to start off by saying 8 or 9 years ago I was in Canada and I got into using the short shooting heads with sink tips on single-handed fly rods. And I used to enjoy the casting, and I used to enjoy how easily you could shoot distance into the line, but there was two main problems with that for me. Number one was the loop-to-loop connection between the head and the running line. So with this line, I've got rid of it. It's an integrated Skagit line, head length of 22 feet for the single-handed rods, which puts it in the Skagit category, but it's not too short. Once you start getting below 20 foot, the casts are more of a throw than a cast, more like a dead weight. Another thing was mono running line was a nightmare for tangling, especially if it was cold. And it sinks. So when you're making the cast, you're having to pull the line from below the surface of the water. But with this, it's built on the lowest coated running line in the world today. And as you can probably see from that, where it's hanging, it's got no memory, so you're not wasting energy pulling coils out the line when making the cast, and it floats being coated, so it's not having to be pulled from below the surface. So it's nicer to handle, no loop-to-loop connection. It shoots like mono, but it floats because it's the lowest coated running line in the world today. It'll single spay cast with a tip on and shoot with ease because it is a shooting head, but without the downsides of the loop-to-loop connection in the tangling running line. This also floats. It'll snap T-cast, so you lift, snap to a low rod tip, sweep it back, make the cast very efficiently. Tight loops, efficient, precise, accurate, which is what you need. But something else interesting about this line, it'll snake roll, which lines that carry sink tips don't really do. But this one, you can snake roll, anchor, and cast. As you can see, there's no tangling whatsoever in the running line. Also, with it being such a low diameter, the weight of the running line is very low, so you can make a cast, and as it's swinging, instead of mending line, just hold the running line off the surface, swinging the rod tip left to right to control the swing of the head. So you can fish short, playing a fish, and if you've got the head in the rod and the fish runs off, it's just smooth, off it goes. No loops banging through the rod rings, which in the past I have had one crack where the loops have banged into it. But yeah, single spay cast, like shooting darts. Much nicer to handle, coated running line. Colour change at the tip of the rods on every cast. Snap T-cast. Big distance, little effort once again. But it will also overhead cast. Just one back cast. As you can see, it's precise, accurate, controlled cast. I didn't make it too short because it goes more from casting it out to throwing it out. With this, it's refined, so as the cast goes out, you've got nice, precise loops instead of just throwing a big thick line out with basically a heavy section of line on the end. I've got an 8-foot sink tip on it, but as you can see, it can still be cast out with a little bit of presentation, even with a sink tip on it. But yeah, snap tee and fly out, shooting an awful lot of line. But as you can see, with all this running line, there's no tangles. Even single space with a very short, easy casting stroke that'll go a long way. But that is also because this is a true through action rod. I think fast action rods have had the day. I can see why brands have done it, because, well, the blanks are a third of the price compared to full through action blanks. A lot more work has to go into building them, basically. And with a softer, deep loading rod, they're more forgiving. So slight mistakes in your cast can basically be hidden by it. But yeah, little snap tee. And just want to keep going. Keep a nice high rod stop on your forward cast, and it'll send out a tight, precise loop. But even single spate, lift, sweep, anchor, and cast. And with a high rod stop, it's very efficient, very accurate, and very under control. But with a 22-foot head length, very accurate. Just takes a bit of practice, which with this line is an addiction casting. But yeah, it also presents well with a sink tip on. The tip I've currently got on it is 3 inches per second, but it'd almost cast like a floating line with that on. But yeah, that's the SGT line, which I've designed for TaylorMade. I think you should check it out, and as always, maybe I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.